parties to the trade made a decision not to go forward, given that the investigation remained open.
Kawhi Leonard's contract being voided or him being suspended, whether that's 40 games, 20 games. To my knowledge, he has denied all of that.
Somewhere inside of a bankrupt company's files, there's a drawing of Kawhi Leonard as a tree. And I'm not kidding. Aspiration, you know, the green banking startup at the middle of this entire mess, had its marketing people sketch Kawhi Leonard as a Groot-style character. You know, the walking tree from Guardians of the Galaxy.
I am Groot.
The idea was to tie Kawhi Leonard to their whole plant a tree, offset your carbon thing. And then somebody up the chain killed it and told the staff to stop thinking about Kawhi, that it feels like a dead end. Now, you might be wondering why this cartoon would matter. Well, that's because it's the newest piece of an NBA investigation that was supposed to be wrapping up any day now. And this week, it didn't.
I think Kawhi did that shit because it made no sense for him to go from Toronto, where he just won a championship, to the Clippers. I know he wanted to go back home to LA, but at the same time, like, you could have played with LeBron. You know the Clippers weren't going to win anything. The only thing that could offset you not playing with LeBron and knowing the Clippers not going to win anything is a big-ass bankroll. Let's just keep it 100. So I feel like this definitely has some validation to it, and he probably did make a smart play, because why would you want to leave Toronto, just go back to Toronto in a worse position? Toronto is not hooping like it used to back in the day. So now you just want to go back to Toronto because you're out the country. You don't have to worry about anything. You can be the hometown hero and loved in Canada. He's trying to escape those charges.
Wrap up, it just got bigger. It basically doubled.
That escalated quickly.
3 things happened in about 48 hours that changed the story that I told you about last time. The league quietly added 2 brand new things that it's digging into. The commissioner walked up to a podium in Las Vegas and flat out contradicted the version everybody's been running, mine included. And we finally learned the one exact outcome that would blow this whole trade to pieces, and it's not what you think it is. So before we get to the content, we are running a massive GTA 6 giveaway. I'm giving away 20
Look, man,
copies.
we don't got a goddamn dude on GTA 6 giveaway. I bought mine. $100 version. You dig what I'm saying? That's what happened when that money good. You spend a little money.
Last fall, the NBA opened up an investigation into the Los Angeles Clippers over a $28 million endorsement deal that Kawhi Leonard signed with Aspiration. This was a deal that critics say was basically a no-show job, money for nothing, a way to sneak him extra cash around the salary cap. Pablo Torre broke the story wide open with a document showing the deal, and a former Aspiration employee saying on his show that it was to circumvent the salary cap.
By the way, we also have a marketing deal with Kawhi Leonard, and that if I had any questions about it, essentially don't, because it was to circumvent the salary cap.
But if you don't think this is the new future, then you're stupid, because how are players supposed to build long-lasting dynasties and long-lasting franchises when every time, even with the example of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They got 2 superstars. I've drafted both of them, homegrown, homebred. I'm trying to get them to keep both of them on the team, but I can't pay both of them this money because either it's going to be Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and nobody else, or one of these players and the whole team around them. So now I got to trade Jaylen Brown. Now I got, I'm penalized for doing my job. I feel like, honestly, the talent just needs to get better, but it kind of does shift the talent around a little bit, because now, it hasn't been a repeating championship since Golden State now, I'm pretty sure. Nobody's two-peated.
Or will.
Aspiration would later on go bankrupt. Its co-founder, Joe Sandberg, is sitting in federal prison on a 14-year fraud sentence. Then, 9 days ago, the Clippers and Raptors agreed to trade Kawhi Leonard to Toronto. And that was once again something that I wasn't anticipating, because I felt like no team in their right mind would trade for Kawhi Leonard if there was still an open investigation around him. If you want a full backstory on how we got here in depth, I'm going to leave it in the end screen for you guys. But for now, you have enough to stay up to date with what's going on here. On July 14th, The Athletic's Mike Vorkunov reported the investigation has expanded to include 2 more financial arrangements. So there's 2 brand new doors to this investigation. The first door is whether the Clippers covered expenses for Kawhi and never got paid back for them. Think of that like someone picking up somebody's tab and quietly never sending the bill. On its own, it's maybe nothing, but in a cap circumvention case, it's the exact kind of thing that investigators live for. But door number 2 is the big one. A previously unreported, undisclosed second endorsement deal with a different company entirely. So I want you guys to...
Yeah, so I feel like he did that because, like I said, who's really willingly going to the Clippers? Like, if you're a player of Kawhi's caliber, you're trying to go somewhere you can win again. I know you want to go home, but like I said, you want to go somewhere you can win. You know you're not winning on the Clippers, so they have to pay him a bunch of money for him to stay. Especially playing with Paul George, and man, it's not worth it. And how everything went with that, and y'all never even made the final. I mean, even the conference finals, never even made that. It's just a whole bunch of stupid stuff. Honestly, I feel like that's, like I said earlier, it's going to be the new norm. A lot of players are going to be doing that. A lot of players are going to be better under wraps than Kawhi, but he's just the first one that we know about. It's just like in the NFL, everybody was smoking before they played the game, but nobody knew about it. It was just the best kept secret.
Understand what we're dealing with here. Over the last year, the one company we kept bringing up was Aspiration. This started as one weird deal with the Green Bank. Now the deal is asking whether there was a second arrangement that nobody had ever heard about. Some outlets are straight up calling it a second investigation. And here's why this is significant. You don't add 2 new charges to a case that you're about to close. We're about 11 months into this thing, dozens of interviews, tens of thousands of documents, and the move this week wasn't to announce a verdict, it was to open more folders. Does that sound like a probe that's almost over to you? And that's before we even get to the tree. Let's talk about Groot for a second, because it's really freaking funny. Yeah, it's still very important. Former Aspiration employees told The Athletic the company talked about building a whole marketing campaign around Kawhi, including that Groot concept. It got as far as mock-ups, as you can see on your screen, and then leadership pulled the plug. One of them summed it up perfectly. Nothing ever came from it, and I'm not sure why it died. Now, here's why a graphic designer's rejected pitch suddenly became evidence. The Clippers' entire defense is that this was a real, normal endorsement deal. Kawhi Leonard endorsed the thing, Kawhi got paid. It happens 1,000 times a year with multiple athletes. But if the marketing team was told to stop thinking about him, if the guy they supposedly paid $28 million to promote them never actually promoted anything, then what exactly was that $28 million for? That's why this is so significant. A company that had every reason to use its famous spokesman apparently decided that they didn't need him to do a single thing. Now,
it's like they started it up because they knew they weren't going to do it. They just tried to like keep it like under wraps and make it look real. And then once they got to a point where it was finna get like really serious and start spending money on production and start like actually animating everything, they said, no, we're not going to do this anymore. Wrap it up. Get them out of there. That's exactly what they did. And honestly, I can't say that I don't respect it, because you want your player and you want to make your franchise at least seem like something. And I think the guy that owns it is a billionaire, bro. Steve Ballmer, I think his name is. I forgot, the ball guy on the Clippers. He's like a billionaire. He has a lot of money. So he's willing to take to the court. He's willing to do whatever he wants for his franchise. His franchise makes him a lot of money at the end of the day. So I can't say it like I said. I side with him. I feel like the NBA shouldn't have put the goddamn clauses in, or the aprons. I forgot the first apron or second apron, I think it's called. I think they shouldn't have did that.
To be fair, a killed pitch by itself doesn't prove anybody did anything wrong, but you can see why an investigator who's already suspicious would look at "we stopped thinking about Kawhi" and go,
"Wait a minute!
You were paying him how much to do nothing?"
I feel it.
But that's before we get to the second detail here. On July 15th, at the Board of Governors meeting in Las Vegas, Adam Silver stepped up and reframed this entire story in about 2 sentences. Everybody's been saying that the NBA froze this trade. I said it. Every outlet said it. But Silver's version is a little different.
The league did not pause the trade. The parties to the trade made a decision not to go forward, given that the investigation remained open.
That's some masterful gaslighting. The teams did it to themselves? Come on! Technically, yeah, Adam Silver's right here. Nobody at the league office hit a stop button, but the league is the one that told Toronto they'd have to swallow any penalty tied to Kawhi if they finished the deal. So
So now it's like, okay, I'm gonna trade for Kawhi, but do I really want Kawhi? Because how many times if he gets suspended, is he really guilty of this shit? He already got injury problems. He already old as hell. It's like, it's like is it really a worth it type of thing? So I feel like it might pause it. It might really ruin the trade. We've seen trades ruined for way less. Honestly, I think Kawhi Leonard should just retire. That's hot take. I feel like his best days are behind him. He can still play some high level basketball, but he's not like LeBron. Like, he's always going to be injury prone. He's always going to have some problems. He's not going to play 100% most of the season. In the playoffs, like, are you really dependent on Kawhi Leonard by himself to lead you in the playoffs at his age right now? No, you're not. So let's just go ahead and wrap it up. I think like Kawhi just needs to retire, bro. He needs to be one of the OGs. No Hall of Fame. Well, maybe a Hall of Fame. But yeah, probably Hall of Fame. But yeah, no bueno right now.